Chapter 2303. After flying for a while, a huge city appeared in front of them. In the city, all kinds of stone buildings soared into the sky. They were densely packed and stretched as far as the eye could see. Looking from afar, there were many people coming and going in the city. This place was like a real world, like a huge country. According to legend, there were many cultivation systems in the primordial era. For example, primordial physical cultivation, primordial martial arts, primordial demon path, and so on. There were many cultivation paths, and it was incomparably prosperous. Later, the nomological system rose and expanded at an astonishing speed. Because the primordial cultivation system had very high requirements in all aspects, the cultivation conditions were harsh, and only a few people could cultivate it. However, the nomological system did not have such high requirements. As long as one had some talent, they could cultivate it and naturally grew very quickly. It did not take long for the nomological system to become the most powerful cultivation system. Where there were people, there was a world. Between the major cultivation systems, battles were inevitable. Later on, a shocking war broke out. The major cultivation systems of the primordial era fought against the nomological system. That battle was earth-shattering, but in the end, the nomological system won. Many of the other cultivation systems were cut off and fell apart. Slowly, they became weaker and weaker. Until now, not many people still cultivated the primordial cultivation system. However, there was such a world here. Could it be that they had stayed here since the primordial era? Everyone's imagination ran wild. After that, they flew into the city. Countless people looked at Lu Ming and the others curiously and whispered to each other. Not long after, they came to a square. There were already many people in the square. There were old men, middle-aged men, and young people. All of them had strong vitality like dragons. Even those old men had snow-white hair, but their skin was smooth and their muscles were full as if they were filled with endless strength. Elders. The leading man came to the front of a few old men with snow-white hair and bowed to report. Then, he told them in detail about meeting Lu Ming and the others. After listening, the old men nodded. One of them walked towards Lu Ming and the others. Some time ago, were you the ones who disturbed the ancestors' sleep? The old man asked. Senior, it wasn't us. On Lu Ming's side, a great emperor said, It's not you? Not too long ago, our ancestor was disturbed and came out of the great necropolis to fight with someone. This time, we sent people to investigate, and they happened to see you. How dare you say it wasn't you? The old man's face sank. Senior, it really wasn't us. It was the outsiders who attacked this place. We were also being chased by them. That's why we ran here. A great emperor explained. Alien race? What alien race? Could it be a divine beast? There are also many divine beasts among you. The old man was puzzled. His gaze swept over Lu Ming and the others. It's not a divine beast. It's a foreign race from another world. They're vicious and cruel. Most of the Heaven Realm's territory has been occupied by them. Countless creatures have died in battle. The great emperor explained. What? A race from another world? The old man's expression changed drastically. The faces of the other Archean body cultivators also changed. My body cultivator lineage has been living in seclusion here ever since the primeval war. What exactly is happening in the outside world now? The old man asked. Everyone's heart jumped. No wonder the old man didn't know about the foreign race. They had been living in seclusion here since the primeval age. The primeval age was much older than the ancient era. The foreign race hadn't invaded yet. Senior, it's like this. That martial monarch immediately explained in detail the invasion of the foreign tribes in the ancient times. Then, he recounted how they were besieged, how they were defeated, and how they fled to the depths of the land of dusk helplessly. The old man and the other Archean body cultivators listened attentively. After listening to the story, their faces became extremely heavy. Senior, 8 of the Heaven Realm's 9 heavens have been occupied by the foreign race. The 10,000 Spirit Heaven was occupied countless years ago. Now, the countless small worlds and forbidden lands in the 10,000 Spirit Heaven have all been occupied by the foreign race. Only the land of dusk hasn't been occupied. I'm guessing that the foreign race won't let this place go. They'll gather a large number of experts to attack this place." The great emperor said. The old man's expression changed. After a while, he said, "Is what you said true?" It was obvious that they were still skeptical. In the battle back then, the Archean body cultivators were defeated by those who practiced the laws. They didn't have a good impression of those who practiced the laws. "Every word is true," the great emperor said. The others nodded. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just at this moment, a few burly men flew over at top speed. Their faces were filled with panic. "Elder, a large number of experts have appeared in the resting place of our ancestor. I don't know which race they are from, but they're attacking the resting place of our ancestor." A burly man reported. "What? Gather the experts and face the enemy." The elder roared. Soon, the sound of a bell could be heard in the huge city. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the city, numerous figures flew out from various buildings. Countless figures flew towards the exit of the world. So many experts. Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Among them, some of their auras were terrifyingly strong. They were definitely great emperors. There were even some heavenly emperors. Watch them. Don't let them wander around. The elder instructed the people around him. Then, he rose into the air and flew towards the exit of the world. Around them, there were more than 10 burly men staring at Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others waited quietly. After 2 days, they saw a large number of figures flying back to the city. Looks like they won. Archean body cultivators are indeed powerful. Rinchan's beautiful eyes flashed. The others also revealed a look of joy. No matter what, the Archean body cultivators were also humans. It was better than the foreign races. At this moment, a few figures flew over. In the middle was a young man. The young man looked to be in his 20s. He was burly and muscular. He seemed to be filled with endless strength. He flew towards Lu Ming and the others. He looked at Lu Ming and the others curiously and said, "The elder asked me to pass a message. He believes that what you said is true. With the current situation, the various races of the heaven realm should be united. So, you can move freely here in the future. I will arrange accommodation for you." Rinchan and the others were overjoyed. They were saved. Obviously, the Archean body cultivators had gone out to fight with the foreign races. They finally believed their words and agreed to accept them. "Brother, how is the battle outside?" Lu Ming stepped out and asked with a fist salute. "The foreign races outside have been defeated by the experts and the ancestral sacred body," the young man said. "I'm guessing that the foreign races will send more experts." Chapter 2304. The youth nodded and said, "The elders have already thought of this. Next, they will send a large number of experts to guard the ancestral resting place. At the same time, the elders are also thinking of other countermeasures. All right, I'll take you to your residence first." Then, the youth turned and flew in a certain direction. Lu Ming and the others followed. On the way, they learned the youth's name. He was called Hong Lu. Soon, they arrived at a spacious area. There were large stone houses here, but no one lived in them. Lu Ming and the others stayed here for the time being. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed since Lu Ming and the others arrived. Hong Lu was very curious about Lu Ming and the others, mainly about the outside world, so he often came to Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Rinchan, and Hong Lu were all young people, so they naturally got along well. After a few exchanges, they became familiar with each other. Lu Ming and the others also learned a lot about this world. Their lineage had been living in seclusion in the depths of the Land of Dusk ever since their defeat in the Primeval War. The Land of Dusk was the most dangerous forbidden area in the Land of Myriad Spirits. There was terrifying field energy everywhere. For so many years, no one had discovered that there were large numbers of primeval physique cultivators living in seclusion here. The exit of this world, which was also the ancestral resting place, was indeed the place where the primeval physique cultivators' ancestors were buried. Many primeval physique cultivators would die and be buried there. Under the effects of the wondrous field energy, their bodies would turn into zombies. Although those zombies did not have intelligence, the Archean body cultivator lineage had a special technique that allowed them to communicate with the zombies and control them to form a powerful fighting force. Back then, when the outsiders attacked the depths of the Land of Dusk, they alarmed the zombies. The zombies awakened and repelled the outsiders. The awakening of the zombies also alarmed the primeval physique cultivators, so they sent people out to investigate. They just happened to run into Lu Ming and the others, and mistakenly thought that Lu Ming and the others had attacked that area. During this time, Hong Lu had been inquiring about the outside world. Lu Ming told him what he knew. The outsiders are so vicious. They deserve to be killed. Hong Lu roared, filled with righteous indignation. Brother Lu, Miss Renchan, shall I show you around? Have a taste of our scenery and customs. Hong Lu invited. Sure, Renchan said. She was also very curious about this place. However, as she had just arrived, she did not dare to walk around recklessly. Lu Ming also nodded. Immediately, Hong Lu led the way, and everyone walked around. Most ancient body cultivators were simple and honest people. When they saw Lu Ming and the others, they curiously sized them up and nodded. They circled around the city and came to a spacious area. This was a training ground for the primordial system. The training field was very spacious. There were many people cultivating, but most of them were quite young. There were 2 or 3 years old kids, 5 or 6 years old, 7 or 8 years old, and the oldest was a teenager. What surprised Lu Ming and the others was that the strength of these little brats was shockingly great. Lu Ming saw a 4 or 5-year-old kid running around with a naked but holding a cauldron that weighed more than 5,000 kilograms. A 7 or 8-year-old kid carried a small mountain and ran as if he was flying. All of them were shockingly strong. Lu Ming and Rin Shan were dumbfounded. We primordial body cultivators have to build our foundation from the age of 1. We soak in spiritual liquid and temper our bodies. From the age of 3, we have to cultivate body tempering techniques. Our cultivation is all on the physical body, so we are relatively strong. Hong Lu explained with a smile, feeling rather proud. Amazing, indeed amazing, Lu Ming exclaimed. Primordial body cultivators had unparalleled physical bodies. They were indeed incomparably powerful. For those who cultivated the laws, as their cultivation increased, their physical bodies would also be tempered and slowly become stronger. After reaching the martial monarch realm, cultivating the spiritual body would have all sorts of wondrous uses and strong vitality. However, in terms of physical bodies, Lu Ming discovered that the physical bodies of many martial sages were not as strong as those of the 7 or 8-year-old children here, let alone martial monarchs. As for those teenagers, their physical bodies were even more astonishing. Bang! Bang! 2 figures were fighting fiercely in the sky. The 2 teenagers, who were 15 or 16 years old, kept colliding in the sky. They were like 2 streaks of light, moving at an astonishing speed. Their combat strength is equivalent to the bright sage realm. Also, the use of their physical bodies is amazing. Lu Ming observed carefully and was amazed. These 2 teenagers, who were only 15 or 16 years old, already had the combat strength of the bright sage realm. It was already very good. Moreover, their use of their physical bodies was superb. Their muscles were rapidly vibrating, resonating with the air and space, allowing their bodies to fly. Furthermore, their speed was astonishing. The vibrations were very subtle. If not for Lu Ming's amazing eyesight, he would not have noticed it. The way the 2 of them attacked was very simple. It was a collision of strength, punches hitting flesh. Bang! 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 The 2 of them exchanged a few hundred blows before stopping. They each found a place to recover and cultivate. Brother Lu, I can feel that your blood chi is extremely strong and your physical body is strong. It far surpasses those who cultivate the laws. I'm very curious. Have you also cultivated the body tempering technique? Hong Lu sized up Lu Ming and asked curiously. Hong Lu was an expert of the body tempering technique and was very sensitive to people with strong physical bodies. He could naturally feel that Lu Ming's physical body was also extremely strong. I've never cultivated the body tempering technique before. It's just that my physical body is stronger by chance, Lu Ming said with a smile. His spiritual body was a high-class heaven spiritual body back then, and he had refined the chaos chi in it, so it was exceptionally strong. Later, after being tempered by the 9 types of laws and refining a portion of the ancestral dragon's blood, Lu Ming's physical body was astonishingly strong. In the body tempering technique, no martial artist of the same level could compare to Lu Ming's physical body. "Brother Lu, why don't we have a spar?" Hong Lu said expectantly. He had never sparred with experts of other cultivation systems. He had always been very curious about how strong the body tempering technique was. In the primordial era, it could actually defeat other cultivation systems. All right, Lu Ming nodded. He was also very curious about how strong the pure body tempering technique of the primordial era was. Bao Da was also a body tempering technique of the primordial era and was very strong. Back in the primordial realm's Ten Lands battle, Lu Ming had fought with Bao Da and had a deep impression of him. The two of them moved and arrived high in the sky. In the cultivation field, the youths and children were all attracted. Brother Hong Lu is going to fight. Brother Hong Lu is invincible among the younger generation. It's been a long time since he fought. This time, he can learn from him. Those youths and children cried out one after another, extremely excited. Even some of the older ones were attracted. Chapter 2305. Brother Hong Lu, please. Lu Ming waved his hand. Brother Lu, be careful. Hong Lu said. The muscles on his body bulged slightly, and a terrifying whistling sound came from his body. That was because his vitality was too rich, and the fluctuations produced when he circulated it were like the roar of a true dragon. When one's vitality reached such a level, it was absolutely terrifying. Even without the law of life and the indestructible ancient scripture, his vitality was shockingly strong, and ordinary injuries could be healed quickly. Boom! Hong Lu's muscles trembled, and his body rushed toward Lu Ming, throwing a punch at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly, and the power of the world in his body circulated to the extreme. All the power of his physical body was also mobilized by Lu Ming. In addition, Lu Ming used a law, which was the law of primal chaos. Boom! Lu Ming also threw a punch. This punch was the combination of Lu Ming's physical strength, the power of the world, and the law of primal chaos. With Lu Ming's current cultivation and the 3rd level of the law of primal chaos, the power of this punch was extremely shocking. Bang! Their fists collided. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. He felt that Hong Lu's fist was like hundreds of mountains, and waves of terrifying power rushed toward Lu Ming. Even the 3rd level of the law of primal chaos trembled and was almost penetrated. Lu Ming's body could not help but retreat. Hong Lu's body only swayed slightly, and then he stabilized himself. What powerful strength, what powerful combat strength. Lu Ming was a little shocked. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, even if he only used the law of primal chaos, his combat strength was extremely shocking. Few people of the same level in the Taiching Sky domain could stop him, but Hong Lu was able to push him back with a punch. Hong Lu's combat strength was top-notch even in the Taiching Sky domain. Brother Hong Lu, you're amazing. The children and youths cried out excitedly. But Hong Lu himself had a very grave expression. Although he had forced Lu Ming back with one punch, he felt that Lu Ming had not used his full strength at all. His body contained a terrifying amount of power. Brother Lu, you haven't used your full strength yet, have you? Use your full strength. Hong Lu said. Come. Lu Ming only said one word. At the same time, his body lit up continuously. Array Dao Law, Tools Dao Law, Penetration Dao Law, and Force Dao Law. Lu Ming had successively used 4 types of laws. Among them, the laws of Array Dao and the laws of Tools Dao were at the 3rd level, while the laws of penetration and the laws of force were at the 2nd level. Lu Ming's aura became even stronger. Boom! 5 types of laws fused together, augmenting Lu Ming's fist. Lu Ming punched out again. Hong Lu also charged towards Lu Ming, throwing out a punch. Bang! The two of them clashed for the 2nd time, and the space where their fists collided constantly exploded, revealing spiderweb-like cracks. This time, the two of them swayed at the same time and retreated a few steps. Then, the two of them fought again. Bang! 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 The collision of fists was very direct, and they continued to bombard each other. Lu Ming did not use his mystique, the laws of life and death, and neither did Lu Ming. The two of them exchanged more than 100 moves and ended in a draw. After another move, the two of them retreated, and Hong Lu panted heavily. Awesome, awesome. The system of laws is indeed amazing. Brother Lu, did you use your full strength? Tell me. Hong Lu stared at Lu Ming. More or less. Almost, haha. Lu Ming smiled. He did not use his full strength mainly to save Hong Lu some face in front of the children. After all, Hong Lu was the strongest prodigy of the archaic body cultivator generation and was the idol of these children. If he defeated Hong Lu, it would inevitably affect the children's confidence. You rascal, I knew it. We'll fight again next time. Hong Lu was forthright. He chuckled and did not take it to heart. He stared at Lu Ming and said, Your physical body is really strong. It is not weaker than some body cultivators. Why don't you try to cultivate the techniques of body cultivators? What do you think? A body cultivator's dermic formulation? Lu Ming was stunned. Look over there. Hong Lu pointed to the north. That was the edge of the training ground. There was a huge cliff, and from afar, one could see that the cliff was densely written with words. What's recorded is a body cultivator's dermic formulation. Let's go and take a look. Hong Lu said, Brother Hong, that's a body cultivator's dermic formulation. I'm afraid it's not appropriate for us to take a look. Lu Ming said, Every system had its own dermic formulation, and many of them were not taught to outsiders. They were not body cultivators, and it would be bad if they violated the taboo. It's fine. That body cultivator's dermic formulation is only used to strengthen one's foundation. Anyone can cultivate it, and it's not a core dermic formulation, Hong Lu said, taking the lead and walking toward the cliff. Lu Ming and Ren Chan were curious, and they followed behind Hong Lu, arriving at the bottom of the cliff. Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique. Lu Ming looked carefully and found that what was recorded on the cliff was a body cultivator's dermic formulation called Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique. This Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique is the most widespread body cultivator's dermic formulation in the primordial era. It's also the most suitable body cultivator's dermic formulation for building one's foundation. Anyone can cultivate it, and it's divided into 12 levels. If the two of you are interested, you can take a look at it. It's very helpful to improve one's physique. Hong Lu said, Many thanks. Lu Ming and Ren Chan expressed their gratitude and looked at the dermic formulation in detail. It's really amazing. So there are so many things to pay attention to, Lu Ming sighed while looking at the dermic formulation. Soon, he memorized all the contents and sat down cross-legged to comprehend them. 2 days later, Lu Ming began to cultivate. First, he circulated the first level of the Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique, buzz. A buzzing sound came from his muscles, bones, and even his internal organs. This buzzing sound turned into a mysterious force, like a sound wave, permeating into every part of Lu Ming's body. At this moment, Lu Ming felt his entire body go numb, as if he had been electrocuted. His body trembled slightly according to a mysterious pattern. Lu Ming found that his body was slowly becoming stronger. Some parts that were difficult to temper before were also becoming stronger. Although the degree of strengthening was very weak, it was indeed becoming stronger. It was as if his body was being thoroughly baptized and polished. Not long after, Lu Ming felt that he had successfully cultivated the first level of the Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique. Next, the second level, Lu Ming continued to cultivate the second level. In the second level, Lu Ming found that the refinement of his body was more thorough. His muscles and bones were trembling at a mysterious frequency. His entire body was numb and itchy, and his muscles and bones were slowly transforming. One should know that Lu Ming's body was already very strong, but now it could still transform. This was very shocking. Chapter 2306. From start to finish, Lu Ming spent 3 days to successfully cultivate the first 3 levels of the Minor Tianqian skill. Beside him, Hong Lu was secretly shocked when he felt the fluctuations coming from Lu Ming's body. In just 3 days, he had successfully cultivated the first 3 levels of the Minor Tianqian skill. Even though he knew that Lu Ming's physical strength was already very strong, Hong Lu was still shocked. This speed was too fast. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He was completely captivated. Every moment, he could feel his physical body getting stronger and stronger. His muscles and bones were itching, and there was a wonderful fluctuation coming from them. This feeling was too good, too wonderful. Lu Ming was completely immersed in his cultivation, forgetting himself and the time. After finishing the 3rd level, Lu Ming began to cultivate the 4th level, then the 5th, the 6th. The higher the cultivation level, the greater the improvement it would bring to him. The minor Tianxian skill was originally used by body cultivators to build their foundation and strengthen their foundation. As for Lu Ming, he had never cultivated a body cultivator's technique before. His physical body had been strengthened by external objects and external forces. This kind of improvement would inevitably lead to an unstable foundation. For example, there were some blind spots in the body, some extremely secretive places that were not tempered, and thus there would be flaws. Now, Lu Ming had reorganized his physical body. Although his physical strength did not increase by much, the strength and quality of his physical body were qualitatively different from before. Moreover, after cultivating the minor Tianxian skill to the 6th level, his foundation was very solid. The strength of his physical body had also begun to increase. 7th level, 8th level, 9th level. Lu Ming used half a month to cultivate the minor Tianxian skill to the 9th level. Moreover, Lu Ming had no intention of stopping. He was already attacking the 10th level. This shocked Hong Lu. How is this possible? In just half a month, he has cultivated the minor Tianxian skill to the 9th level and is still continuing. This is a peerless genius, a body cultivator's peerless genius. This matter must be reported to the elders. Hong Lu muttered to himself. Then, he quickly left the place and reported this matter to his superiors. Not long after, beams of prismatic light appeared. There were more than a dozen old men, all of whom were elders of the Archean body cultivator lineage. When these people saw Lu Ming, their eyes widened. He's already reached the 10th level. Unbelievable. For someone who cultivates in the nomological system to be able to reach the 10th level of the minor heaven mystery art in such a short period of time, he is definitely a peerless genius. I wonder if he can successfully cultivate all 12 layers of the minor sky mystery art. The dozen or so old men discussed excitedly and shockingly. Although the minor heaven mystery technique was the foundation technique of the body cultivator lineage, it was also the most important technique. Only by cultivating the minor heaven mystery technique to a high enough level could one cultivate the core techniques of the body cultivator lineage. However, not everyone could cultivate the minor heaven mystery technique to perfection. In fact, it was already very good to be able to cultivate to the 9th level and be considered a genius of the body cultivator lineage. In the future, their achievements would definitely be extraordinary. As for the highest level, the 12th level, there were not many people in the body cultivator lineage since ancient times. Each and every one of them was a rare genius. Ru Honglu was such a prodigy. However, he took a much longer time than Lu Ming. To be able to cultivate the minor heaven mystery technique to such a level in such a short period of time was definitely one of a kind. Everyone waited quietly. Later, Run Shan also ended her cultivation. Up until now, she had only cultivated to the 3rd level. If she continued, she felt that her strength was not enough and needed time to slowly polish it. When she saw the dozen or so old men staring at Lu Ming without blinking, she was shocked. After asking Hong Lu about it, she understood the whole story. Freak. Ren Chan sighed. The body cultivator lineage did not know how freakish Lu Ming was, but she knew that Lu Ming had mastered 3 types of supreme laws. In the system of laws, he was also an unprecedented figure. Now, Lu Ming was actually so freakish when cultivating the body cultivation technique. She could not help but sigh. Lu Ming was unaware of everything that was happening outside. He was immersed in his cultivation. Soon, he completed the cultivation of the 10th level and broke through to the 11th level. He could feel that his physical body was constantly growing stronger and tougher. His strength was also increasing. In particular, there was a drop of ancestral dragon blood in his heart. As Lu Ming cultivated the minor heaven mystery technique, That drop of ancestral dragon blood also had traces of energy that poured into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming refined it, increasing the strength of his physical body. The 11th level was not difficult for Lu Ming, and he was quickly cultivated to success. Next, it was the 12th level. Buzz. Buzz. This was also the last level of the minor heaven mystery technique. At this point, Lu Ming's physical body was constantly trembling and emitting a buzzing sound. He felt that his physical strength was extremely powerful. After Lu Ming cultivated the minor heaven mystery technique for a month, Lu Ming finally cultivated the minor heaven mystery technique to perfection. He succeeded. He succeeded. Oh my God. He managed to cultivate the minor heaven mystery skill to the perfection stage in just 1 month. His talent is too amazing. This kind of body cultivation talent cannot be wasted. I think we should impart the 7 divine mystic technique to him. I agree. More than a dozen old men spoke excitedly, their eyes shining. When they looked at Lu Ming, it was as if they were looking at a peerless treasure. Even Hung Lu was shocked. The elders actually wanted to impart the 7 divine mystic technique to Lu Ming. The 7 divine mystic technique was completely different from the minor heaven mystery technique. The minor heaven mystery technique was only a basic cultivation technique of the body cultivation lineage. It was very widespread and could be cultivated by anyone. However, the 7 divine mystic technique was the core cultivation technique of the body cultivation lineage. It was one of the top secret cultivation techniques. Generally, only the geniuses of the body cultivation lineage could cultivate it. Hong Lu himself cultivated this cultivation technique. This showed how much the elders appreciated Lu Ming. To be able to cultivate the minor heaven mystery technique to perfection in just a month was unprecedented in the history of body cultivation. This kind of talent was too amazing. If he did not cultivate the cultivation technique of the body cultivation lineage, it would be a waste. Phew. At this moment, Lu Ming let out a long breath and opened his eyes. My strength has doubled. Lu Ming felt his strength and revealed a look of excitement. His physical body had become much stronger, and his strength had doubled. With the help of the Supreme Force and the various laws, Lu Ming's combat strength had undoubtedly increased by another level. Lu Ming felt that if he unleashed his full strength, his combat strength would reach the 18th level True Emperor. Afterward, Lu Ming swept his gaze around and got a shock. This was because more than 10 pairs of sparkling eyes were staring intently at him. Little guy, how do you feel? Is your physical body much stronger? You're a peerless genius of the body cultivation world. How about this? Don't cultivate the law system in the future. Cultivate the body cultivation lineage instead. I'll take you as my disciple. Get lost? He's my disciple. The dozen old men glared at each other and began to fight over Lu Ming. They all wanted to take him as their disciple. Chapter 2307. More than a dozen white-haired old men glared at each other, looking like they were about to draw their swords. But when they looked at Lu Ming, their eyes were burning. After a long while, Lu Ming reacted. Seniors, this junior cultivates the nomological system. I have no intention of abandoning the nomological system and focusing on cultivating the physical body. Lu Ming said honestly. It was not easy for him to achieve his current achievements in various nomological systems. He had sacrificed too much. Moreover, his nomological system was unprecedented. In the future, he would master more strongest nomological systems. How could he give it up just like that? You still want to cultivate the nomological system? Kid, let me tell you, your talent in physical cultivation is definitely stronger than the nomological system. Do you understand? It's a waste if you don't cultivate the physical body. Don't ruin your future. The dozen or so old men panicked and tried to persuade Lu Ming. Seniors, I've made up my mind. I won't change it, but Lu Ming rolled his eyes and revealed a smile. However, I can do dual cultivation. I can cultivate the nomological system and physical body together. Seniors, what do you think? Practice together? The dozen or so old men quieted down and looked at each other. Kid, the path of cultivation is very difficult. Who knows how much effort it takes to cultivate one of them? Many people spend their entire lives and still can't cultivate one of them to the peak. If you want to cultivate both, I'm afraid you're biting off more than you can chew. That's right. You won't be able to cultivate both. The dozen or so old men criticized Lu Ming sternly. Seniors, I understand this logic, but others are others. I'm different from others. With my unparalleled talent, it's definitely not a problem to cultivate the nomological system and the physical body together, Lu Ming said shamelessly. His face was not red and his heart was not beating fast. This kid is simply shameless, but what he said makes sense. With his talent, it's indeed difficult for others to compare to him. Are we going to pass the 7 gods' mysterious art to him? He doesn't specialize in body cultivation. It's not good to pass it on to him like this. The 7 gods' mysterious art is the highest secret of body cultivation. It can be practiced to the legendary supreme realm. In my opinion, it's better to ask the Taishang elder. Yes, I think so too. The dozen or so old men gathered together to discuss. After a while, one of the old men said to Lu Ming, "Brat, you wait here. We'll go ask the Grand Elder for instructions." After saying that, the dozen or so old men all left. Lu Ming, you actually managed to cultivate the minor heaven mystery art to perfection in just 1 month. How did you do it? Hong Lu walked over in amazement. Rinchan also curiously sized up Lu Ming. She had also cultivated before, but she could only cultivate to the 3rd level. If she wanted to continue to improve, she didn't know how much effort it would take. She knew how difficult it was. However, Lu Ming was able to cultivate it to the peak in 1 go. This was simply a miracle. I don't know. I just casually cultivated it to perfection. Is it that difficult? Lu Ming asked in surprise. Rinchan and Hong Lu's eyelids twitched. They were tongue-tied and couldn't speak at all. They were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. It was a complete blow. It's not difficult. After holding it in for a long time, Hong Lu squeezed out such a sentence. It should have something to do with the ancestral dragon blood. Lu Ming pondered. He felt that the reason why he could cultivate the minor heaven mystery art to perfection in 1 go was largely related to the drop of ancestral dragon blood. This was because when he cultivated to the end, the energy in the ancestral dragon blood was constantly being refined. That was why Lu Ming was able to cultivate the minor heaven mystery art to perfection in 1 go. Then, Rinchan asked Lu Ming about the cultivation method of the minor heaven mystery art. They chatted while waiting. They didn't have to wait for too long. The dozen or so old men returned. Kid, we have already asked the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder thinks that your talent is really rare. It would be a pity if you don't cultivate your physical body. Therefore, the Grand Elder has agreed to pass the 7 gods' mystic art to you. Take it. An old man said. Then, he took out a roll of animal skin and handed it to Lu Ming. The cultivation method of the 7 gods' mystic art is recorded on it. Memorize it and return this roll of animal skin to us. The old man said, "Thank you, Senior." Lu Ming thanked him. He was overjoyed. Then, he took the animal skin and carefully looked at it. Soon, he memorized all the contents on the animal skin and returned it to the old men. Lu Ming closed his eyes and carefully comprehended the contents. The 7 gods' mystic art was a supreme physique cultivation method. It was many times more exquisite than the minor heaven mystery art. The 7 gods' mystic art was divided into 7 levels. Each level was divided into early, middle, and late stages. Lu Ming used a full 7 days to roughly understand the contents of the first few levels. Then, he began to cultivate. Buzz, buzz. His muscles, bones, organs, and even every drop of blood in his body emitted a mysterious vibration. Waves of mysterious power seeped into every corner of Lu Ming's body and into every cell. Lu Ming's physical body was undergoing a transformation. The first 2 levels of the 7 divine mystic art were also a way to build a solid foundation. It was very similar to the later levels of the Xiaoxiangshuan skill. Lu Ming was able to cultivate it with ease. Very soon, he had mastered the first 2 levels. 7 days later, Lu Ming reached the 3rd level of the 7 gods' mystic art. At the 3rd level of the 7 gods' mystic art, one could fight against Void Emperor with just the strength of their physical body. At the 4th level, one could fight against a true emperor with just the strength of their physical body. The 5th level corresponded to a Grand Emperor. The 6th level corresponded to a Heavenly Emperor. And the highest level, the 7th level, corresponded to a Supreme Realm. After reaching the 3rd level, Lu Ming's cultivation speed slowed down. He continued to circulate the 7 gods' mystic art. The drop of ancestral dragon blood in his heart also continuously circulated energy throughout Lu Ming's body. Following the circulation of the 7 gods' mystic art, the energy seeped into every cell of Lu Ming's body and continuously strengthened Lu Ming's physical body. Time passed day by day. Lu Ming continued to break through. Early 3rd level, middle 3rd level, late 3rd level. After a full 2 months, Lu Ming finally reached the late 3rd level of the 7 gods' mystic art. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He felt that he could continue to break through. During these 2 months, Ren Chan, Hong Lu, and a dozen old men had been watching nearby. A genius, a genius. He reached the late 3rd level of the 7 gods' mystic art in one go and has no intention of stopping. This has never happened before, a dozen old men exclaimed. At this time, a few burly men flew over, their faces grave as they reported, "Elders, something bad has happened. Outside the exit, where our ancestors are sleeping, a large number of strange races have gathered. They have already launched an attack, and their strength is extremely strong. They're here. Let's go and gather all the experts." Chapter 2308. The elders all left and headed towards the exit of the small world. At the same time, a large number of archaic body cultivators rushed towards the exit. At the exit of the small world, where the archaic body cultivator ancestors were sleeping, a terrifying battle broke out. Countless foreign race powerhouses bombarded the tombs like a gust of wind. The tombs split open and zombies walked out one after another. These zombies were very terrifying. Many of them had the combat strength of a great emperor. Some even had the combat strength of a heavenly emperor. These zombies were all top body cultivators when they were alive. In addition, there were also archaic body cultivators fighting with the endless foreign races. More than a dozen elders and a large number of body cultivators rushed out and charged towards the foreign races. Kill! Those old men looked to be gray-haired. At this moment, they shouted loudly. Their blood chi soared into the sky like smoke signals. Their bodies erupted with terrifying power as if ancient dragons were awakening. Boom! Boom! Their attack method was very simple. With a simple punch, the fist force shattered the void and a large number of foreign races were killed. The zombies were even more direct. They were not afraid of death. They ignored defense and attacked crazily. For a time, the archaic body cultivators gained the advantage. The foreign races attacked for a while and were beaten back. They retreated to the depths of the land of dusk. However, the archaic body cultivators did not dare to slack off. They sent people to guard them strictly. Sure enough, every few days, the foreign races attacked again. Moreover, their overall strength was stronger than before. Both sides fell into a fierce battle. After a period of fighting, the foreign races retreated. However, after a while, they would attack again. Lu Ming had been cultivating all this time. Previously, he used 2 months to successfully cultivate the first 3 levels of the 7 gods arcane art. Then, he used another month to successfully break through to the early 4th level. Then, he used another month to cultivate the 7 gods arcane art to the middle 4th level. At this point, Lu Ming had to stop cultivating. This was because he felt that his original accumulation had been used up. He had encountered a bottleneck and could not break through for the time being. He needed to polish for a period of time. Moreover, the energy of the drop of ancestral dragon blood had been refined by half. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes and let out a long breath. My strength is so strong. Lu Ming felt the power in his body and was extremely excited. This was the power of his physical body, pure physical strength. Lu Ming felt that his current physical strength was dozens of times stronger than before. Intermediate 4th level. My physical strength alone should be enough to fight against a 13th level true emperor. Lu Ming speculated. Don't look down on this kind of power. It was extremely terrifying, because this was purely the power of the physical body and nothing else was added. In the past, Although Lu Ming's physical strength was strong, it was still far from what it was now. At that time, Lu Ming's physical strength, world strength, and laws would be able to increase Lu Ming's strength. However, if he were to rely on the strength of his physical body alone, it would be impossible. At most, he would be on par with a low-level ethereal emperor. But now, Lu Ming was able to fight against a 13th-level true emperor with just his physical strength alone. With the addition of the world strength and laws, Lu Ming's strength would reach an astonishing level, far surpassing the strength of an 18th-level true emperor. Now that Lu Ming was facing an expert with the combat strength of a level 18 true emperor, he could completely crush the other party. Body cultivation, when combined with the law system, would burst forth with astonishing power. My defense and recovery ability has been greatly enhanced. Coupled with the indestructible ancient scripture, I wonder what kind of level it will reach. Lu Ming found it hard to imagine how powerful he would be if he were to go all out. Lu Ming, which realm have you cultivated the 7 divine mystic arts to? Hong Lu came over and asked. Intermediate 4th level. Lu Ming said, Heavens, intermediate 4th level so quickly. You're sick. I've been cultivating for dozens of years, and I'm only at the intermediate 4th level. You're sick. Hong Lu wailed, as if he had suffered a blow. Lu Ming rubbed his nose, speechless. His rapid improvement was mainly due to his previous accumulation. His body had been tempered many times in the past and was already very strong. With the help of the lesser heaven mysterious arts and a drop of ancestral dragon blood, he was able to improve so quickly. His speed would slow down in the future. Moreover, cultivating the physical body required a large amount of natural resources, such as spiritual herbs, saint herbs, and emperor herbs. This time, he relied entirely on the energy of the ancestral dragon blood. He didn't need any herbs. By the way, where are the other seniors? Lu Ming looked around and asked. They've gone to war with the foreign races. Their attacks have become more frequent in the past 2 months. Many of our people have died in battle. Speaking up to this point, Hong Lu's complexion turned awful. The foreign races have already attacked? Lu Ming's expression turned grave. We can't go on like this. The foreign races are too strong, and their numbers are endless. It's not that I'm underestimating the strength of the primordial body cultivator lineage, but if this continues, we won't be able to hold on. Rin Chan said, Then what should we do? Hong Lu was also a little anxious. Let's go to the front line. I want to talk to the seniors. Lu Ming said, All right, let's go. Hong Lu nodded. Immediately, the 3 of them headed for the exit of the pocket dimension. With their speed, it didn't take long for them to arrive near the exit of the pocket dimension. There were many temporary buildings near the exit of the pocket dimension. A large number of primordial body cultivator experts were stationed there. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, it was obvious that there had just been a huge battle outside. Many people had just retreated from outside. In a huge stone hall, a few supreme elders and more than 20 elders of the primordial body cultivator lineage were discussing something. However, their expressions were grave, and their brows were tightly furrowed. The atmosphere in the stone hall was very oppressive. At this moment, someone reported that Hong Lu and Lu Ming were requesting an audience. Let them in. At the very top, a supreme elder spoke. The supreme elders of the primordial body cultivator lineage were all heavenly emperor realm powerhouses. A while later, Lu Ming, Rin Chan, and Hong Lu walked in. Numerous gazes fell on Lu Ming in unison. Kid, what realm did you cultivate the 7 gods' profound art to? An old man asked curiously. Middle stage 4th layer. Lu Ming answered truthfully. Middle stage 4th layer. These old men in the stone hall, and some middle-aged men, each and every one of them opened their eyes wide. They knew when Lu Ming started cultivating. In just a few months' time, Lu Ming actually cultivated the 7 gods' profound art to the mid-stage 4th layer. Chapter 2309. Hong Lu was the most outstanding prodigy of the Archean body cultivators, but he had only reached the mid-4th level after a few decades. Lu Ming, on the other hand, had only taken him a few months. Good. A peerless genius, a peerless genius. The elders sighed. After a while, they calmed down. Why did you come to us? One of the supreme elders asked with a smile. Seniors, now that the foreign races have set their eyes on this place, they will definitely not let this place go. If this continues, the war will be very disadvantageous. Lu Ming said, We know that too. What do you think? One of the supreme elders asked. Let's rush out and leave this place. Otherwise, this place will be breached sooner or later. At that time, no one will be spared. Lu Ming said and directly expressed his thoughts. Leave this place. In the stone hall, everyone's expression changed. Our Archean body cultivator lineage has been living in seclusion since the ancient times after our defeat. We have lived here for countless years and have already taken root here. You want us to abandon this place? A burly man said. The others fell silent. Indeed, their lineage had lived here for countless years. Who would be willing to abandon it just like that? Seniors, it's not that I look down on the strength of the body cultivator lineage, but the foreign races are too strong. The ones outside are only a small part of them. In the ancient times, the celestial realm was incomparably prosperous. Experts gathered and invincible experts roamed the world, but in the end, it was still breached. Countless experts died in battle. Only the Taiching celestial realm was left in the Nine Heavens realm, barely holding on. If the foreign races transferred some of their experts from the battlefield in the Taiching celestial realm, they definitely won't be able to hold on. Lu Ming advised. The people of the Archean body cultivator lineage had solemn expressions as they pondered seriously. They also understood that Lu Ming was right. Their lineage was only one of the Archean body cultivator lineages. Their strength was far from being comparable to the Archean body cultivator lineage in the prime of the ancient times. However, the body cultivator lineage in the prime of the Archean era was still defeated by the law system. Later on, after many years of development, the system of laws flourished to the extreme, but it was still broken through by the other races. It was clear how powerful the other races were, and how they could not withstand them. There's actually another exit in this small world. If you want to retreat, you can retreat from the other exit. After a long time, a supreme elder spoke with a voice filled with helplessness. There is another exit? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. In that case, it would be much better than rushing out. Everyone, tell me, are we going to retreat or not? The supreme elder who had spoken earlier turned to look at the others. I agree to retreat. I agree too. Our lineage can't end here. I agree. The remaining elders and grand elders all expressed their willingness to retreat. Only a few people remained silent, unwilling to accept this. I have a question. With such a large population in our small world, how are we going to bring them out when we retreat? One of them asked. That's easy. True emperors of our law system can create small worlds. Even a one-star true emperor can create a small world with a circumference of 100,000 miles. It's enough to bring everyone out. Rinshan said. Then where should we go after we retreat? A burly man asked. To the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. A supreme elder answered. The Grand Pure Heaven Domain? This time, not only were many Archean body cultivator elders stunned, but even Lu Ming and Rinshan were stunned. Could there be a way to reach the Grand Pure Heaven Domain from the Myriad Spirit Heaven Domain? If there was, why hadn't the other races discovered it after so many years? How can we go to the Grand Pure Heaven Domain? The eyes of many elders lit up. It would be best if they could go to the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. There's an ancient book in our body cultivator lineage that says that we can reach the passage between the Grand Pure Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain from the yellow springs of the Nine Nether Heaven Domain. According to little brother Lu Ming, the passage between the Grand Pure Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain has become a battlefield. As long as we reach there, we can enter the Two-World City and the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. Another Supreme Elder also spoke. Doesn't that mean we have to go to the Nine Nether Heaven Domain first? Someone asked. That's the only way now. A Supreme Elder said. Seniors, it's completely feasible. The Nine Nether Heaven Domain and the Wanling Heaven Domain are connected by a passage. As long as we charge through the passage and enter the Nine Nether Heaven Domain, we can reach the Yellow Springs and then the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. Moreover, The energy that the other races cultivate is different from ours. Although they can absorb origin chi to cultivate in the heavenly domain, it's very slow and inefficient. Therefore, other than the battlefield in the grand pure heaven domain, although the other heavens have been occupied by the other races, there aren't many of them. Seniors, with your strength, you can definitely kill your way to the Yellow Springs, Rinchan said. His words made everyone's eyes light up. All right, let's do that. First, I'll have to trouble you to put everyone below the martial emperor realm into the small world and then retreat, a supreme elder announced and gave the order. Immediately, everyone got to work. Those who cultivated the law system began to move. They put everyone in the small world into the small world, leaving those above the martial emperor realm outside. After so many years of development, the population of the primordial body cultivator lineage had already reached tens of billions of people. However, this was not a problem at all. A small world of a one-star true emperor was 100,000 miles wide. A martial emperor's small world was 1,000,000 miles wide. It was a piece of cake to take in tens of billions of people. After a few days, all the people and resources in the small world were put away. At this time, they began to retreat. However, they still left some people behind to guard the exit and control the zombies to fight against the other races. There was no other way. Someone had to stay behind, or the other races would discover them. Those who stayed behind would die without a doubt. Those above the martial emperor realm led a group of powerful zombies to the other side of the small world. There was another exit there. They went through this exit and came out of the land of dusk. Then, they quickly flew toward the passage to the 9 nether heaven domain. However, they still encountered the other races along the way. Even though they were easily killed by the body cultivators of the Archean era, they weren't strong enough. However, some of them still managed to spread the news before they died. When the other races in the land of dusk received the news, they were immediately enraged and launched a fierce attack toward the depths of the land of dusk. The immemorial physique cultivators who stayed behind were naturally no match for them and were all killed in the end. When the other races rushed into the small world of the immemorial physique cultivators and found that it was empty, they were furious and ordered all the other races in myriad spirit heaven to encircle the immemorial physique cultivators. Chapter 23:10. Lu Ming and the others were very fast. Coupled with some powerful archaic body cultivators, they were very powerful. Although they encountered obstructions from other races, the hastily gathered outsiders were no match for them and were easily killed. A few days later, they arrived at the passage between the myriad spirit heaven and 9 netherworld heaven. The passage here was very similar to the one between the grand pure heaven and Hunyuan heaven. It was very wide. However, there weren't many outsiders guarding it. Apart from the grand pure heaven, the other 8 heavens were under the control of the outsiders. They naturally didn't need to leave too many people to guard the passages. They didn't encounter any obstructions. They broke through the passage and rushed towards 9 netherworld heaven. 9 netherworld heaven was the legendary nether underworld kingdom. It was filled with nether chi and was an extremely powerful heaven in the ancient era. The nether underworld kingdom was famous in the heaven domain and had countless experts. Later, it was invaded by the outsiders and suffered heavy casualties. The legendary Yellow Springs and Bridge of Helplessness were both in 9 netherworld heaven. Lu Ming had seen the Yellow Springs Bridge of Helplessness when he entered the Reincarnation Emperor's tomb. It was built by the 9 Lives demonic silkworm based on the Yellow Springs Bridge of Helplessness in 9 netherworld heaven. There were many ancient books among the archaic body cultivators that recorded many secrets. There were also records of 9 netherworld heaven's territories. After entering 9 netherworld heaven, they rushed towards the Yellow Springs. Along the way, they encountered some outsiders, but they were easily defeated. 9 netherworld heaven was very wide. Although it wasn't as large as the grand pure heaven domain, it wasn't much different. After flying for several days, they saw a large river running across the land. The river was so wide that they couldn't see the other side. The water in the river was yellow and sticky, and filled with a disgusting stench. This was the Yellow Springs. Legend had it that the water of the Yellow Springs had terrifying corrosive, devouring, and cursing powers. Once one fell into the Yellow Springs, only death would await. It was said that even heavenly emperors would be in danger if they fell into the yellow springs. No one knew how long the yellow springs were. It was true that no one knew. No one knew where the source was, and no one knew where it flowed to. This was because someone had followed the yellow spring all the way and eventually discovered that it flowed into the eternal void. Following the void, it would pass through the passage between the Taiching Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain, which was the current battlefield. This was their hope. They wanted to follow the yellow springs and move forward. Kill. Beside the yellow springs, there was actually a dense crowd of outsiders gathered. At this moment, they were charging towards them. Not good. It seems like the outsiders have guessed that we're coming to the yellow springs and have gathered a large number of experts here. Someone's expression changed. Attack from the other side. A grand elder of the primordial body cultivators shouted, and everyone rushed in another direction. However, not long after, a large number of outsiders also charged over from that direction. Charge! A grand elder roared, and everyone rushed over. They were already at the edge of the yellow springs. Only by rushing over would they have hope. The experts from both sides clashed fiercely. On Lu Ming's side, those who were below the martial emperor level were all kept in the small world. Those who remained outside were all martial emperors and above. With some of the strongest body cultivator prime elders as the vanguard, they charged into the outsider army like a sharp blade. Puff, puff, puff. Countless non-humankind beings were killed and blasted apart. However, there were also experts among the outsiders. There were even heavenly emperors among them. Heavenly emperors were too terrifying. One attack from them was enough to destroy heaven and earth. Lu Ming's vanguard was immediately hindered, and their speed slowed down. Behind them, a large number of outsiders rushed over. Both sides were engaged in a bloody battle. Kill! Lu Ming roared, and he went into a frenzy. 9 types of laws covered Lu Ming's body. At the same time, Lu Ming activated his indestructible golden body. The indestructible golden body combined with Lu Ming's current physical strength to unleash boundless power. Lu Ming did not care about defense at all. Like a beast of war, he rushed into the crowd of outsiders and continuously punched with both fists. Every time he punched, at least a few members of the alien race would explode. As long as they were not martial emperors, regardless of their combat strength, they would be instantly killed by Lu Ming. This was the case even for 18th level true emperors. Right now, Lu Ming was truly invincible among true emperors. Bam! Bam! Lu Ming had lost count of the number of outsiders he had killed. His body was bathed in their blood. Slowly, they broke through the defenses of the outsiders and reached the shore of Yellow Spring. Bring out the heaven-piercing warship, a supreme elder shouted. At the same time, he waved his hand and a warship flew out, floating above Yellow Spring. You guys control the ancestral battle physiques to defend against the outsiders. We will activate the heaven-piercing warship. A voice reverberated in all directions. Boom. Next, the Supreme Elder's body rumbled. A stream of blood rushed out and entered the heaven-piercing warship. Buzz. The heaven-piercing warship trembled and emitted a terrifying aura. At the same time, it rapidly grew in size. Without a powerful treasure, it was impossible to escape from the Yellow Springs. Once a person touched the water of Yellow Spring, only death awaited. Even a heavenly emperor would be in danger. Only by relying on the ancestral treasure of the primordial physique cultivators, the heaven-piercing warship, could one enter Yellow Spring and travel to the eternal void. Boom, boom. Following that, a few more supreme elders of the primordial physique cultivators activated their blood chi and poured it into the heaven-piercing warship. The heaven-piercing warship trembled more and more violently. Its entire body glowed and rapidly grew in size. Stop them! Kill! Kill! The outsiders roared. More outsiders rushed over from all directions. In particular, there were 5 or 6 outsiders who were shockingly powerful. They were all heavenly emperors. They walked through the air, releasing terrifying fluctuations. A single move blasted out, causing heaven and earth to collapse. They were powerful to an unimaginable degree. Stop them! Some of the elders of the primordial physique cultivators roared. They were no match for them. so they could only rely on the zombies. They controlled the zombies to charge forward. Some of the zombies had the combat power of a heavenly emperor. They resisted the heavenly emperors of the outsiders. However, they were outnumbered. They were suppressed as soon as they clashed. Bang! Bang! Some of the heavenly emperor zombies were hit by the heavenly emperors and exploded in the air. However, they had no choice but to sacrifice the zombies to buy time for the supreme elders. Buzz. After a while, the heaven-piercing warship expanded to tens of thousands of meters in size and landed on the Yellow Spring River. Hurry up and board the heaven-piercing warship. We'll cover you. A supreme elder roared and rushed over to fight the heavenly emperors of the outsiders. The other supreme elders also rushed over. As for the weaker ones, they rushed toward the heaven-piercing warship, especially those of the law system. Because there was a large population in their small worlds, the primordial physique cultivators protected them and let them board the heaven-piercing warship first. Lu Ming, Ren Chan, and the others also boarded the warship. Chapter 23:11. Retreat. The primordial body cultivator Grand Elders retreated as they fought. Don't let them go. Stop them. A foreign race heavenly emperor roared, his eyes emitting beams of destructive light, incomparably terrifying, blasting towards the body cultivator Grand Elders. The other foreign race heavenly emperors also launched fierce attacks. For a time, the body cultivator Grand Elders could not retreat to the ancient battleship. Among the primordial body cultivators, there was an old man, a peerless powerhouse, his combat power frighteningly high. Unfortunately, there was also such a powerhouse among the foreign races, stopping him. In the end, they had no choice but to let several powerful zombies launch suicidal attacks. Only then did they temporarily delay the other party. Several Grand Elders seized the opportunity and rushed onto the heaven-piercing battleship. Roar! Roar! However, several powerful zombies were stopped by the other party. Being besieged, their indestructible physical bodies were torn apart by the other party. Go! The heaven-piercing battleship rumbled, speeding towards the depths of the Yellow Spring. Stay! A total of 6 or 7 foreign races chased over, all of them heavenly emperor realm existences. They did not give up, erupting with terrifying attacks, wanting to destroy the heaven-piercing battleship and bury all of them in the Yellow Spring. However, the body cultivator Grand Elders joined forces and blocked the other party's attacks. Moreover, one of the strongest Grand Elders punched through space, blasting a heavenly emperor realm foreign race until he vomited large mouthfuls of blood, his body retreating wildly, falling towards the Yellow Spring River. Splash! The Yellow Spring River's waves rolled up, and a wave just happened to hit the foreign race heavenly emperor's body. That heavenly emperor screamed miserably, his body scurrying about in the sky, his originally burly body shriveled up rapidly. In the end, that heavenly emperor blocked the corrosion of the Yellow Spring water, but his aura withered, almost dying. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. The Yellow Spring water was indeed terrifying. Even a heavenly emperor realm powerhouse would be severely injured when hit by the Yellow Spring water waves. Just what was the origin of this Yellow Spring water? How was it formed? It was also too terrifying, right? Heavenly emperors were standing at the pinnacle of this world. Although that foreign race heavenly emperor might just be an ordinary heavenly emperor, but some Yellow Spring water could seriously injure him, it was too shocking. The other foreign race heavenly emperors all revealed a look of dread, not daring to pursue. If he was blasted into the Yellow Springs River, the consequences would be unpredictable. Just being hit by the waves, a heavenly emperor was severely injured. If he directly fell into the Yellow Springs River, wouldn't it be a dead end? The outsiders could only watch as the heaven-span battleship sailed into the depths of the Yellow Springs. Everyone let out a long sigh of relief. Finally, they got rid of the non-humankind beings. At the same time, they were secretly surprised. They didn't know what material the heaven-piercing battleship was made of, but it could sail on the Yellow Springs River without being damaged by the water. A Grand Elder of the archaic body cultivators had told him that the heaven-piercing battleship had been found by the ancestors of the archaic body cultivators in an ancient ruin. Everyone could only let their imaginations run wild. Just what kind of ruins could lead to a treasure like the heaven-piercing battleship? The heaven-connecting battleship was huge. It sailed in the Yellow Springs River, following the flow of the river. It was unknown where it would end up. Everyone could only wait patiently. A month later, the heaven-piercing battleship had traveled a long distance. Up ahead, there was nothing but emptiness. They had already reached the border of the Nine Nether Heaven. However, the Yellow Springs River didn't end. Instead, it flowed directly into the emptiness. A river that wasn't on the ground, but instead flowed into the emptiness. It was truly shocking. Everyone stared blankly at the river, somewhat dazed. They couldn't help but marvel at the wonders of the world. The heaven-piercing battleship sailed along the Yellow Springs River into the emptiness. They looked around and found that they were surrounded by a dark void. The Yellow Springs River was like a passageway that led to an unknown destination. At this point, all the Grand Elders were in high spirits. According to the ancient records, the Yellow Springs River would pass through the battlefield between the Taiching Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain. They had to concentrate and seize a fleeting opportunity to rush out. Time passed day by day. They didn't know how far they had traveled in the dark. It was silent, as if it was eternal. "Look, what's that?" Someone suddenly exclaimed and looked ahead in surprise. The others also looked over. "That's..." At one glance, Lu Ming was taken aback. His eyes widened involuntarily. In front of the Yellow Springs River, an unknown distance away, was a huge mountain. The mountain loomed in front of them, but no one could be mistaken. It was really a huge mountain. A huge mountain actually appeared on the Yellow Springs River. "I've never heard of it before," an elder exclaimed. He was a Grand Elder of the Body Cultivation sect, but he had never heard of such a thing. There was no such thing in the rumors about the Yellow Springs River in the past. There was a huge mountain on the Yellow Springs River? The heaven-piercing battleship kept moving forward, but the huge mountain still hovered in front of them. It didn't seem to be closing the distance at all. Could that be the end of the Yellow Springs? Someone muttered to himself. The others were shocked. The end of the Yellow Springs was a huge mountain? This sounded really inconceivable. "We're here. Attack!" A Grand Elder roared. His blood surged as he threw a punch at the space to his right. The power of this punch was shockingly strong. When the punch was thrown out, the space exploded continuously as if it was made of paper. At the same time, the other Supreme Elders also made their moves, continuously blasting in that direction. With so many experts attacking at the same time, the power was terrifying. The space was completely torn apart, allowing them to see the situation outside. Outside was a land of deathly stillness. Battlefield. It's that battlefield. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He could tell that it was the battlefield between the Taiching Heavenly Domain and the Hunyuan Heavenly Domain. The Yellow Springs River would indeed pass by the battlefield between the Taiching and Hunyuan Heavenly Domains. The space between here and the battlefield was very thin, and several Grand Elders had forcibly blasted it apart. "Let's go." A Grand Elder piloted the heaven-piercing battleship towards the spatial gap. The spatial gap was closing on its own. The other Grand Elders continued to bombard the battleship to open the spatial gap. Rumble. The heaven-piercing battleship successfully left the Yellow Springs River and charged towards the spatial gap. Soon after, the heaven-piercing battleship rushed out of the spatial gap with a rumble and landed on a piece of land, kicking up a cloud of dust. "We're back." Lu Ming carefully sensed his surroundings, and his face lit up with joy. This was definitely the battlefield. After taking a big detour, Lu Ming had returned to the battlefield again, and he had brought back a large group of experts. With the addition of this group of body cultivators, 2 world cities' strength would increase significantly. "Little brother Lu Ming, we'll follow you from now on." Chapter 23:12. Everyone's gaze was on Lu Ming. None of them had been to the Grand Pure Sky Domain or the battlefield before. Naturally, they had to rely on Lu Ming. "Seniors, please follow me." Lu Ming identified the direction and headed toward the 2-world city. The others followed Lu Ming. The battlefield they were in was not the Void Emperor battlefield, the True Emperor battlefield, or the Great Emperor battlefield. It was just an ordinary battlefield. The auras of the large group were too powerful. They charged through the void with shocking power. Along the way, when the foreign races encountered them, their expressions changed drastically. They turned around and ran, but they were killed by the archaic physique cultivators with a single punch. They encountered several waves of foreign races, but they were all killed by the archaic physique cultivators. Now, the archaic physique cultivators were furious. They had lost their homes and ancestral lands because of the foreign races. Naturally, they were furious. Not long after, the two-world city finally appeared in front of them. Dong! Dong! When Lu Ming and the others approached the two-world city, the deafening sound of war drums could be heard. On the city walls, light shone and figures appeared one after another. Obviously, the experts on the two-world city had noticed them. However, there were too many of them and many of their auras were too strong. Naturally, the two-world city was alerted. Everyone, we're on the same side. We're from the heavenly realm. Someone shouted. Who are you? A voice came from the two-world city. At that moment, the people on the two-world city were also very surprised. Although there were many heavenly realm beings on the battlefield outside the two-world city, there were not so many of them. Moreover, some of their auras were shockingly strong. Moreover, they were unfamiliar and had never seen them before. That was shocking. Everyone, I'm Lu Ming. At that moment, Lu Ming walked out and said loudly, What? Lu Ming? The people on the two-world city were obviously shocked. Isn't Lu Ming dead? He's here again. Could it be that he's not dead and the rumors are wrong? Then who are those people beside him? For a moment, there was a lot of discussion on the two-world city. Everyone, these are our people. Open the formation and let us in. Lu Ming shouted. Lu Ming, it's fine for you to come in, but we need to report the others. We can't afford to let so many experts into the city rashly. If something happens, we won't be able to bear the consequences. A tall and sturdy man spoke. I'll take responsibility. At this moment, a voice came from two-world city. As soon as the voice was heard, a few figures appeared on top of two-world city. The one in the lead was precisely Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu. Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu looked at Lu Ming with a look of great joy on his face. They are all humans or divine beasts from the heaven realm. They are definitely not from a foreign race. Open the formation and let them in. Celestial Arch Hong Yu said. Yes. The others obeyed. Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu was a heavenly emperor. Moreover, he was not an ordinary heavenly emperor. His battle prowess was extremely strong, second only to heavenly venerables. When he spoke, no one dared to disobey. Not long after, the light barrier outside Two Realms City rippled, and a huge gap appeared. Go in. Lu Ming took the lead and rushed in. The others followed and rushed in one after another. Not long after, everyone entered Two World City. The light barrier outside Two World City closed up again. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, I knew that you were fine. Back then, there were rumors that you died, but I didn't believe it at all. Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu walked over and laughed loudly, very happy. Following that, his gaze looked at the primordial body cultivators, Ren Chan, and the rest and asked, Lu Ming, who are they? Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu was very shocked in his heart, because some of them made his heart palpitate, having a powerful pressure. And these people, he had never seen them before at all. This made him rather shocked and curious. They are from the myriad spirit sky region. These are the primordial body cultivator lineage. Lu Ming gave a simple introduction. At the same time, he briefly recounted his experience. Primordial body cultivator lineage. Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu's pupils constricted sharply a few times. Then, he cupped his fists at the primordial body cultivator grand elders and said, I'm Hong Yu. Greetings, fellow Taoists. You're too polite. The old man of the primordial body cultivator also nodded politely. Lu Ming, I really didn't expect that. Back then, there were rumors that you had fallen. I didn't expect that you actually ran to the myriad spirit sky region. It's really strange. Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu sighed. Senior Hong Yu, were the people who said that I had fallen from the Lan and Yin family? Lu Ming asked, a trace of cold light flashing in his eyes. That's right. They also said that you were the one who killed the fellow Taoists of the heavenly realm to seek treasures. They bumped into you and wanted to take you down, but accidentally rushed into a broken small world. In the end, that small world collapsed. Heavenly Emperor Hongyu said, "Haha, the Lan and Yin families are really shameless. They clearly wanted to kill me and seize my indestructible ancient scripture. The people of the heavenly realm were also killed by them, and they framed it on me." Lu Ming's voice was very cold. When he thought of Bai Tai dying because of him, Lu Ming was filled with murderous intent. "I knew it. As expected, the Lan and Yin families are very good." Heavenly Emperor Hongyu was furious after hearing that. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. "Since I've returned this time, I must take revenge. I'll go to the Lan and Yin families now." Lu Ming said coldly. Even if it was not for other reasons, he must avenge Bai Tai. He would not let any of those who killed him go. "Lu Ming, the Lan and Yin families are not in the Two-World City now," Heavenly Emperor Hongyu said. "Not in the Two-World City?" Lu Ming was puzzled. "That's right. The Lan and Yin families' headquarters are not in the Two-World City, but in the central region of the Grand Pure Sky domain. The Two-World City is only their base. In the past 2 years, the foreign races have stopped attacking, so there are fewer battles. Therefore, some of the experts of the Lan and Yin families are not there. In addition, the Lan family's genius, Lan Xia, is about to marry Xinyuan Yi and hold a big banquet. Countless experts are gathered in the central region of the Grand Pure Sky domain." Heavenly Emperor Hongyu explained, "Lan Xia and Xinyuan Yi are 2 of the 9 absolutes." Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He had heard of these 2 names before. They were 2 of the 9 absolutes of the younger generation in the heaven domain. They were peerless geniuses, especially Xinyuan Yi, who was ranked 2nd among the 9 absolutes. Many people said that he had the chance to become the first of the 9 absolutes and stand at the peak of the younger generation in the Tian Yuan domain. Lan Xia is the genius of the Lan family. She's Blue Cloud's sister. This time, her marriage with Xinyuan Yi is a strong alliance and has attracted everyone's attention. I heard that the Lan family has invited most of the heaven domain's geniuses. There will be a grand banquet. Heavenly Emperor Hongyu said. "When is their wedding day?" Lu Ming asked. Chapter 23:13. Half a month later. "Just nice. I'll make a trip. The price that the Lan family and the Yin family have to pay will eventually have to be paid." Lu Ming muttered, his voice getting colder and colder. "Lu Ming, don't act rashly. The Lan family is definitely not something ordinary factions can compare to. The Lan family is an extremely ancient family with deep foundations and experts as common as clouds. Not only is there only one heavenly emperor in Lan City, it is said that the Lan family also has an old ancestor who is a peerless 4-star heavenly emperor realm powerhouse." Heavenly Emperor Hongyu said with a somewhat solemn expression, but Lu Ming's eyes were firm, unmoved. In addition, the Lan family has existed for countless years and is on good terms with many major factions. For example, the Yin family. The Yin family is just an ordinary powerful faction with a heavenly emperor holding down the fort. They have a marriage alliance with the Lan family. The 2 families are very close. In addition, there are also many factions similar to the Yin family who are on good terms with the Lan family. This time, they will all rush over. If you go over rashly, I'm afraid you will suffer a great loss. Therefore, if you want to go, you must be careful. If you really want to go, I'll accompany you. However, the other heavenly emperors of the primordial realm have to guard Two-World City. I'm afraid they can't leave." Heavenly Emperor Hongyu explained the Lan family's power structure and general strength to Lu Ming. However, seeing Lu Ming's firm gaze, he knew that Lu Ming had already made up his mind, so he agreed to accompany Lu Ming. "Many thanks, Senior Hongyu." Lu Ming thanked him and said, "If I want to go, I naturally have to be confident." Finished speaking, he walked towards the primordial body cultivator grand elders and said with cupped fists, "Seniors, this junior has something that I would like to ask the seniors for help with. If there's anything that you need us old bones for, just say the word." An old man laughed, very forthright. "I would like to invite the seniors to follow me to a place." Lu Ming told them about going to the Lan family. "No problem." The grand elders of the Archean body cultivators all agreed. Ever since Lu Ming had displayed his exceptional talent in body cultivation, they had regarded Lu Ming with great importance. Moreover, it was all thanks to Lu Ming that they were able to enter the Two-Realm City. Since Lu Ming was in trouble, they naturally had to help. Heavenly Ruler Hung Yu also smiled. He knew very well that these old men were very scary. With their help, their chances of success would be much higher. Lu Ming, let me arrange a place for them to stay first. Celestial Emperor Hung Yu said. Senior Hung Yu, is there a spacious place with no one around? This time, quite a number of body cultivators have come. They are all in our small world. Lu Ming said. Oh, how many people? Celestial Emperor Hong Yu asked. About 30 billion people. Lu Ming said. Oh, only 30 billion? That's easy. Not far from Two-Realm City, there's a vast and uninhabited mountain range. It's enough for them to live there. Heavenly Ruler Hong Yu thought for a moment and thought of a place. 30 billion people seemed to be a lot, but it was just a drop in the ocean compared to the vast and boundless territory of the Grand Pure Sky Domain. The population of the Grand Pure Sky Domain was simply uncountable. Any small territory had more than tens of billions of people. Not long after, they set off and arrived at a vast and boundless mountain range. This mountain range spanned millions of miles. It could easily accommodate 30 billion people. Immediately, Lu Ming and the rest had people from small worlds. With a thought, a large number of people appeared in this mountain range. Following that, some primordial body cultivator powerhouses went up to make arrangements. Everyone chopped wood, moved stone, and repaired houses. Most primordial body cultivators were incomparably strong. Doing these things was simply too easy. They believed that in less than a few days, they would be able to completely settle down here. Rinchan and the rest also chose a place and settled down. Their eyes were filled with sadness. Their small world had a large population to begin with, but now, not many of them had come together. Many of them had died in battle. Especially some of the top experts, they did not come here. Lu Ming discussed with Heavenly Ruler Hung Yu they all, planning to go to the Lan family after a few more days. It would not be too late. Lu Ming returned to Two-World City and met with Mulins. Seeing Lu Ming, Mulins was naturally overjoyed. The two people caught up for a while. Lu Ming returned to his residence, planning on having a good rest. I wonder if I can contact the Chaos Hall now? Lu Ming thought of the Chaos Hall again. Thinking up to here, Lu Ming took out the Chaos Essence token. He did not expect that the moment he tried this time, the Chaos Essence token actually had activity. Lu Ming was overjoyed and poured world power into it. Buzz. The Chaos Essence token started vibrating. Then, a light pillar appeared, enveloping Lu Ming inside. Following that, Lu Ming's figure disappeared from where he was. Lu Ming seemed to be traveling through the void. That feeling was like taking a super long-distance teleportation formation. Not long after, Lu Ming came to a large hall. It was the Chaos Hall. The moment Lu Ming appeared, light flashed in the Chaos Hall. There were a total of 9 figures, emitting different colors from their bodies. 2E, Gold E, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Greetings, young master. 2E, Goldie, and the rest bowed to Lu Ming. Seniors, there's no need to be so polite. Lu Ming hurriedly waved his hand. Young master has already defeated the son of primal chaos, Yuan Xin. Moreover, you have broken through to the Emperor realm using many different types of laws, and have even mastered many different types of supreme laws. Such talent is unprecedented. From now on, you will be the master of Primal Chaos Palace, and also our young master. Tui said with a serious face. You have heard of me? Lu Ming asked curiously. Of course, the Chaos Hall is in the Taiching Celestial Domain. Young master's name has spread throughout the Taiching Celestial Domain. Of course we have heard of you. Tui said with a smile. The Chaos Hall is in the Taiching Celestial Domain? Then why couldn't I contact you before? Lu Ming asked curiously. It was not difficult to guess that the Chaos Hall was in the Taiching Celestial Domain. Back then, he could directly enter the Chaos Hall from Yuanlu. It was not difficult to guess that the Chaos Hall was in the Taiching Celestial Domain. That was because the Taiching Celestial Domain was connected to Yuanlu. The Hunyuan sect was probably in the Taiching celestial domain too. Lu Ming was curious why he could not contact Tu-Yi and the rest before, but now he could. Young Master, there are 2 battlefields in the Taiching celestial domain. The Chaos Hall is near one of the battlefields. More than 10 years ago, the foreign tribes suddenly invaded and a fierce battle broke out in that battlefield. We brought the Chaos Hall to join the battle and cut off the outside world. That's why you could not contact us. Tu-Yi explained. The other 8 nodded their heads in agreement. Lu Ming was enlightened. So that was the reason. Recently, the foreign tribes did not invade. Therefore, Lu Ming could contact Tu-Yi and the rest again. Seniors, I would like to ask about the Chaos Scripture, Lu Ming asked. The Chaos Scripture in his hand seemed to be incomplete. Young Master, the Chaos Scripture in your hand is indeed incomplete. It only has the part before you became a martial emperor. The part after you became a martial emperor was supposed to be given to you after you became a martial emperor. Now that you have become a martial emperor and reached the true martial emperor level, it is natural that you have it. Young Master, please follow me. Chapter 23:14. In the secret chamber, there was a figure sitting cross-legged in the air. It was the figure of the Chaos Emperor. As soon as Lu Ming entered, the figure turned into a ray of light and rushed into Lu Ming's glabella. Suddenly, a piece of information appeared in Lu Ming's mind. Chaos Scripture, Lu Ming whispered. This piece of information was the latter part of the Chaos Scripture. It recorded the deduction laws of the Chaos Scripture, a series of divine abilities, and the combination of various laws. Among them, the law of chaos was the main one. Lu Ming sat cross-legged and carefully comprehended it. The Chaos Scripture contains 18 types of laws, similar to the indestructible ancient scripture. Unfortunately, it's only based on one type of law of chaos, so it's not suitable for me. However, there are many things in it that I can learn from. Lu Ming pondered. The Chaos Scripture contained 18 types of laws. Among these 18 types of laws, Lu Ming only had 4 of them. In the future, if Lu Ming wanted to master more laws, he could use the Chaos Scripture to deduce other laws. That way, it would be faster than comprehending them alone. In addition, Lu Ming could also try to cultivate some of the divine abilities to increase Lu Ming's means of fighting against enemies. Of course, Lu Ming's main cultivation direction still depended on himself to comprehend and explore. After all, he had mastered many types of supreme laws. If he wanted to unleash the strongest power of these laws, he had to rely on himself to explore. After all, since ancient times, no one had mastered many types of supreme laws at the same time. A day later, Lu Ming stopped comprehending. He was not in a hurry now. When he had time in the future, he would choose a few divine abilities to cultivate. Lu Ming returned to the main hall. Tu-Yi and the other 8 were waiting there. Tu-Yi, what are your cultivation bases? Lu Ming asked curiously. The 9 of us belong to 9 different elements and are all in the heavenly emperor realm. Tu-Yi replied. Heavenly. Heavenly emperor? Lu Ming began to nod subconsciously, but he immediately reacted and his mouth opened wide. He was dumbfounded. Earth 1, Gold 1, Wood 1. There was a total of 9 people, and all of them were puppets. In the past, Lu Ming thought that Tu-Yi and the rest might be at the Heavenly Emperor realm, or even peak Heavenly Emperors. However, he did not expect them to be at the Heavenly Emperor realm. 9 Heavenly Emperors, what kind of terrifying power was this? The Primal Chaos Palace was only one of the 9 great palaces of the Primal Chaos sect. Even if the Primal Chaos Emperor's strength was exceedingly high, the fact that there were 9 Heavenly Emperor realm puppets under him was enough to shock people. From this, it could be seen how amazing the strength of the Hunyuan sect was at its peak. Good, very good. Lu Ming was delighted. With the help of Tu-Yi and the others, he was like a tiger that had grown wings. Primal Chaos Palace, is there anyone else other than you? Lu Ming asked again. Yes, but they are all puppets. There are 1,000 of our 9 elements. Their names are from 1 to 1,000, from the Martial Emperor realm to the Heavenly Emperor realm. Dui Dao. Lu Ming nodded. Previously, Tu had sent Tu Qian to follow him to the divine wilderness continent. Until now, Tu Qian was still guarding the divine wilderness continent. Seniors, I'll go back first. I have something that I need your help with. In a few days, I'll be going to the Lan family in the central region of the Taiching Sky Domain. Lu Ming told them about the Lan family and asked Tu and the others to help him. Tu and the others naturally agreed. Lu Ming was overjoyed. With Tu and the others' help, this time, he would definitely make the Lan family pay the price. Then, a force enveloped him. Not long after, Lu Ming returned to his original place. It seems like there's a formation similar to a teleportation formation on the Primal Chaos token. As long as it's activated, the teleportation formation on it will be activated. Lu Ming thought. In the next few days, Lu Ming did not cultivate and had a good rest. A few days later, Lu Ming, Heavenly the Archhangyu, and the four supreme elders of the primordial physique cultivators headed to the central region of the Taiching Sky Domain with Lu Ming. The Taiching Sky Domain was vast and boundless. It was not smaller than the entire Yuan continent and was roughly divided into 5 regions: East, South, West, North, and Central. The Lan family was in the central region. Heavenly the Archhangyu led Lu Ming. With the speed of a Heavenly the Arch, they arrived at Blue Moon City where the Lan family was located in a few hours. Blue Moon City was an ancient giant city that completely belonged to the Lan family. This was the headquarters of the Lan family. The Lan family had been here for countless years. During this period, Blue Moon City was unusually lively. It was simply a sea of people. The marriage of the Lan family's genius daughter to the second-ranked genius of the 9 absolutes was a big event. Moreover, it was said that the Lan family had invited a large number of geniuses. Many people guessed that there would be a grand event and naturally came to watch the fun. Heavenly the Archhangyu and the others concealed their auras and walked into Blue Moon City like a few ordinary people. They found an inn and inquired about the news. This time, there are so many geniuses here. Most of the famous geniuses from the Heaven Domain and the Yuan Realm are here. The Lan family actually has such great influence to be able to invite so many geniuses here. Someone raised a question. What do you know? There hasn't been a grand event in the Heaven Domain for a long time. Ever since the selection of the 9 absolutes more than 10 years ago, some of the top geniuses haven't clashed with each other. This time, they can take advantage of this opportunity to compete with each other. Moreover, I heard that the Lan family has paid a huge price this time. If anyone can get first place this time, the Lan family will take out 100 Chaos Stones as a reward. What? 100 Chaos Stones? What a huge sum. Many people were shocked. The Lan family actually wanted to take out 100 Chaos Stones as a reward for the first place. This was definitely a huge sum. Back then, outside Two World City, Lu Ming had taken down the other party's prince in exchange for 100 Chaos Stones. The Lan family has really put in a lot of effort. Could it be that the Lan family wants to push Xinyuan Yi to the throne of first place? That's right. Xinyuan Yi is ambitious and has long wanted to challenge Lin Xiaofeng and take the throne of first place. This time, Xinyuan Yi most likely wants to take advantage of this opportunity to defeat Lin Xiaofeng. This way, the 100 Chaos Stones won't be wasted, and Xinyuan Yi's reputation will be pushed to the peak. The Lan family has a good plan, but aren't they afraid that Xinyuan Yi won't be able to defeat Lin Xiaofeng and will be defeated by him? If that's the case, they'll suffer a double loss. Therefore, this time, there will most likely be a showdown between the top geniuses. That's why so many people have rushed over and attracted a large number of geniuses here. In the restaurant, many people were drinking and chatting loudly. Lu Ming and the others had received a lot of news. 100 Chaos Stones. We can't miss it. There was a glint in Lu Ming's eyes and he revealed a smile. It seemed that there would be additional rewards this time. Seniors, it seems that we don't have to rush to their door. Let's get the 100 Chaos Stones first, Lu Ming said with a smile. They drank for a while, then left the place and found a restaurant to stay. Time passed day by day. Soon, it was the day of Lan Xia and Xinyuan Yi's wedding. Chapter 23:15. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, when he used the divine breath technique, Great emperors couldn't see through him at all. Even heavenly emperors could only see through Lu Ming's disguise, but they couldn't see through Lu Ming's true appearance. Lu Ming didn't plan to reveal his true body from the start. If Lu Ming revealed his true body from the start, the Lan family definitely wouldn't let him get the 100 Chaos Stones. He would change his identity first and get the Chaos Stones first. Heavenly Emperor Hong Yu went first, followed by him and a few body cultivator grand elders. Not long after, Lu Ming and the others came to a square. This square was hundreds of miles long and wide, but at this time, the square was already filled with banquets. Many people were sitting casually at the banquets. Look, that's the prodigy area. There were people chatting on the side. Lu Ming looked over and found that there was an area north of the square where many young prodigies were sitting. Long Qin, Huang Ling, Desolate Force, and Bubbles. Lu Ming looked around and saw many familiar faces. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Other than Bubbles, he hadn't seen anyone else for many years. However, now wasn't the time to reminisce. It wouldn't be too late to reminisce after this matter. At the same time, Lu Ming also saw others. For example, Heng Xinghe, Yuan Xin, Baoda, Xieku, Tian Ming. Most of the top prodigies of the primordial realm were here. The others were all prodigies from the heaven realm. For example, those prodigies who followed Heavenly Emperor Kong into the primordial realm during the Battle of the Ten Earths were also among them. At this time, Lu Ming realized that there were countless banquets in this square, and they were also divided into many different areas. The area where they were sitting was just an ordinary area. Lu Ming didn't care and waited quietly. Look, it's Xin Wu Lin of the Nine Absolutes. And Fu Lu, Wang Yi. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Lu Ming looked towards the sky. A few figures walked over in the air, full of arrogance. They looked down from above and glanced at the crowd, then landed in the area of the young prodigies. Among them, Lu Ming had seen a few before. Xin Wu Lin, the bald youth, Fu Lu, they were all prodigies of the Nine Absolutes. Their talents were amazing, and their future achievements were unimaginable. It's Lin Xiaofeng. Lin Xiaofeng is really here. Immediately after, there was an even louder uproar. The whole place was in an uproar. Almost everyone's eyes were looking at a young man in the sky. Lin Xiaofeng was ranked first among the Nine Absolutes. In the past, he was the strongest genius in the heaven realm. He stood at the peak of countless geniuses and was invincible. He was also the opponent's. Lin Xiaofeng, dressed in black and carrying a long saber on his back, landed in the area of the younger generation with a cold expression. Lin's brother, many prodigies S. Lin's T-test battle determine. T.S. More than a decade ago, the two had clashed and launched a peak battle. In the end, Lin.S. defeated Xin Yuan-yi. Xin Yuan-yi had always wanted to defeat Lin.S. to prove that he was the best in the world. This time, the Lan family had mobilized so many people and really took out 100 Chaos Stones to push Xin Yuan-yi to the top. They were very confident. Therefore, many people wanted to know who would emerge victorious in this confrontation. The Yin family's celestial emperor has arrived. The Luo family's celestial emperor has arrived. The Boundless Palace's palace master has arrived. At this moment, voices spread throughout the place. Everyone quieted down. The celestial emperors. In the sky, one figure after another came. In the east, the Yin family's celestial emperor led the Yin family's experts here. In the west, the Luo family's celestial emperor led the Luo family's experts here. These celestial emperors and the experts who followed them descended in the northernmost area. That was the VIP area. Only those with noble status could sit there. These forces were all on good terms with the Lan family. For example, the Yin family and the Luo family were all related to the Lan family by marriage. After that, powerful forces continued to descend. Some forces even had celestial emperors descend. During this period of time, the foreign races retreated and did not attack. That was why these celestial emperors had time to come here. Ha ha ha, thank you for coming. I'm sorry for not coming out to meet you. At this moment, a loud laugh was heard. Then, a group of people flew over from the depths of Blue Moon City. The person in the lead was the Lan family's head, the Celestial Emperor Powerhouse, Lancheng. Behind Lancheng followed a large number of Lan family powerhouses. Among them, Blue Cloud was among them. And beside Lancheng, a young man and woman followed, attracting the attention of many people. Because these two people were today's protagonists, two of the 9 absolutes, Lan Xia and Xinyuan Yi. Brother Lan, congratulations. Congratulations to the Lan family for getting a son-in-law. The Yin family's celestial emperor and the others got up to congratulate, their faces full of smiles. Thank you. Everyone, please take a seat. Lan Cheng waved his hand. Today, my Lan family's prodigy, Lan Xia, is getting married to Xinyuan Yi. You don't have to be polite. Eat and drink to your heart's content, Lan Cheng said with a smile. Immediately, countless people flew out and placed wine and dishes on all the tables. Then, it was time for the wedding ceremony. Everyone waited patiently. They all knew that after the ceremony, it would be the main event. Soon, the ceremony was over. Lan Cheng got up, faced everyone and said, "This time, thank you for coming, especially the prodigies of the younger generation. Most of them are here. Why don't we take this opportunity to exchange pointers with everyone, and let us old guys also see the glory of the younger generation? How about it?" That's great. Since the battle more than 10 years ago, many prodigies have rarely fought and have been cultivating hard. Today is a good time to see the results of their cultivation. Now is the golden age. Prodigies have gathered, and now with the addition of the prodigies from the Yuan realm, the real stars are shining brightly. Many people nodded, revealing a look of anticipation. Those young prodigies also sized each other up, and a faint fighting spirit spread out. For example, Xinyuan Yi's gaze fell on Lin Xiaofeng, and the powerful fighting spirit was not concealed. In his eyes, only one Lin Xiaofeng was worthy of him fighting. This time, the Lan family will also offer some prizes. As a reward, the Lan family will offer 100 Chaos Stones as a reward to the person who comes in first place. No matter who wins first place, my Lan family will never go back on our words. Lan Cheng continued, and his voice spread throughout the entire venue. Lin Xiaofeng's eyes were filled with a bright light. This time, he was here for 100 Chaos Stones. Who wouldn't be tempted by 100 Chaos Stones? However, the other prodigies sighed. They understood that they were destined to not be able to get the 100 Chaos Stones. With Lin Xiaofeng and Xinyuan Yi around, it was impossible for them to get first place. Chapter 23:16. Everyone looked around with different thoughts in their minds. "Senior, what are the rules of this competition?" Someone asked. "There are no rules. If any of you want to fight, you can come up here and challenge whoever you want to spar with. There are no rules. You are free to fight," Lan Cheng explained with a smile. He then waved his hand, and a huge battle stage appeared in the middle of the square. There were no banquets in the middle of the square. It was obvious that it was for sparring. "Now, who will go up first?" Lan Cheng asked again. "Then let me throw a brick to attract the jade first." A voice sounded. Then, a young man in a white shirt rushed up to the battle stage. The young man looked at the younger generation area and said, "Fong Han, come up and fight. I'm not afraid of you." The person who was challenged shouted and rushed up to the battle stage. Without saying anything, the two of them fought fiercely. The two of them were just ordinary sky prides. They were not top sky prides because they had not mastered the strongest laws. The laws that they had mastered were kingly laws. Both of them were in the empty emperor realm. They exchanged blows and the battle was extremely intense. The two of them exchanged more than 100 blows. In the end, the young man in a white shirt who went up to the battle stage was more skilled and won. Next, the battles continued. However, those who fought at the beginning were all ordinary sky prides. The sky prides who had mastered the strongest laws did not fight. Not long after, Lu Ming saw Long Chun, Huang Li, Huang Ling, and the rest challenging others. Long Chun, Huang Ling, and the rest had not comprehended the strongest laws. They had only comprehended the kingly laws. After so many years, their strength had improved greatly. They had mastered 3 to 4 kingly laws and their cultivation had reached the level of a 4-star empty emperor. If one was not an innate firmament child, It would not be easy for one to comprehend a strongest law after advancing to martial emperor. The difficulty was extremely high. However, as long as Long Chun, Huang Ling, and the rest had not become great emperors, they would have the chance to comprehend the strongest laws. Around the square, many big shots were drinking and chatting as they watched with interest. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. After 3 days, almost all the ordinary Sky Prides had fought. Finally, the Sky Prides who had mastered the strongest laws went up to fight. Many people immediately perked up and watched carefully. The battle between the top geniuses was undoubtedly more exciting. At the same level of cultivation, the combat power of the top geniuses was stronger than that of the ordinary geniuses. Lu Ming saw Blue Cloud, Yin Shi, and Stellar River make their moves. Their talents were definitely top-notch, and they all defeated their opponents one by one. This was especially true for Hung Xinghe. He had challenged several people consecutively and won every single one of them. However, Lu Ming did not make a move. His goal was 100 Chaos Gems. It was useless to make a move now. All he had to do was wait until the end. Boom! Suddenly, a tall and sturdy figure rushed onto the fighting ring. His entire body was pitch black, like an iron tower. Bauda. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. After so many years, Bauda had become many times stronger. The muscles all over his body were bulging, filled with explosive power. Physique cultivator. I didn't expect there to be a physique cultivator prodigy outside. Beside Lu Ming, several Archean body cultivators were immediately intrigued. They stared curiously at Bauda, sizing him up. Bauda was like a barbaric dragon. Finally, his gaze swept towards a gray-robed youth. "You, come up and fight." Bauda's voice reverberated throughout the entire arena. The gray-robed youth was the one who had followed Heavenly Emperor Kong into the primordial realm. Moreover, he also cultivated the Archean cultivation system. Back then, the gray-robed youth had challenged Bauda, Xieku, and the ancient devil alone. He had easily defeated them. Bauda had always been brooding over this. Now that he had cultivated for so many years and his strength had increased greatly, he naturally wanted to challenge the other party and get back at them. Whoosh! The gray-robed youth rushed onto the fighting ring. "This time, I will defeat you alone." Bauda's eyes were filled with ferocity. He was like a giant beast, and his aura was extremely terrifying. "Make your move." The gray-robed youth spoke as a powerful aura erupted from his body. Boom! The two of them moved at the same time and collided fiercely. An earth-shattering explosion erupted on the fighting ring. Then, the two figures could not help but retreat continuously. The first move was a draw. Again. The two of them bombarded each other again. Many people were watching excitedly from all directions. Even some great emperors and heavenly emperors were watching seriously. This was because the two of them cultivated the Archean cultivation system. Bauda, an Archean physique cultivator. The gray-robed youth, an Archean martial artist. The two of them fought each other head-on. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged dozens of blows. Over the years, Bauda was much stronger than before. He could actually fight with the gray-robed youth. It was difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. One had to know that the gray-robed youth could easily defeat them in the past. This reminded Lu Ming of Heavenly Emperor Kong Yin's words. Some of the top geniuses in the Yuan realm were not weaker than the geniuses in the heavenly realm. However, due to limited resources, their cultivation was weaker, and their combat strength was far inferior to the geniuses in the heavenly realm. But now, the geniuses in the Yuan realm had received the resources of the heavenly realm. In terms of cultivation, they had quickly caught up. Now, they could truly fight with the geniuses in the heavenly realm. This black kid is not bad. Next to Lu Ming, an Archean physique cultivator elder spoke, revealing a look of interest. He is indeed not bad. The physique cultivation technique he cultivates is not very advanced, but he has such achievements. He is indeed a peerless genius in physique cultivation. If he is properly trained, his achievements will be limitless. Another old man also spoke. Obviously, these elders had a strong interest in Bauda. Roar. In the battle ring, Bauda roared. Like a mad beast, his attacks were wild. In the end, He even ignored his own defense and attacked crazily, adopting a method of fighting that would cause both sides to suffer. This made the gray-robed youth's expression solemn. In the end, after exchanging a few blows with Bao De, he floated back and left the battle ring. "I'm not fighting anymore. I admit defeat," the gray-robed youth said, then returned to his seat. "Ha ha ha." Bao De grinned and laughed wildly. Finally, his gaze swept over some of the other youths. He still wanted to fight. "Bao De, that's enough. Now it's my turn." A voice rang out. Then, a figure rushed into the battle ring. It was Sieku. Bao De chuckled and left the battle ring. Then, Sieku challenged a genius from the heavenly realm, and he defeated his opponent. What are these people from the Yuan realm trying to do? Do they all want to challenge the geniuses from the heavenly realm? In the young genius area, a youth said coldly. The expressions of many geniuses from the heavenly realm changed slightly. Their eyes swept over the geniuses from the Yuan realm, such as Tianming, Yuan Xian, Bubbles, and the others. However, Tianming and Yuan Xian did not speak. Their eyes were fixed on the battle ring. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.